Hello, welcome. This is a video that I'm creating, whether that be for just me maybe someday to look back on when trying to figure out some ideas that I'm working through, or maybe someone will watch this someday. Either way, either to my future self or whoever's watching this, I hope that, first of all, you can see me. What is this light? I'm literally using a computer screen for light right now, but I hope that you're doing well, whoever's watching this. Secondly, the reason I'm here today is because I have a big idea right now, and I continue to add levels to it, and I want to make sure that when I look at what I'm doing a year, 6 months from now, that it is what I want to be doing. So right now what I'm kind of working through, thinking about anyways, is taking a year-long trip. Now I think that I want to leave on August 1st, which I've decided recently that I will be leaving on August 3rd. August 1st, woo! August 1st, and that is my departure date for whatever project I decide to create. What I want to do is merge some of my favorite things. So theater, devised work, and being a creator is the base, the baseline of all of the work I want to do in my life, I guess, as an artist. But next what I want to do is, I'm drawn to two things besides theater right now, and it's learning and educating myself on Black and brown communities, specifically the children of those communities. Secondly, national parks is something that I've just always enjoyed being outside, and then through this thing and that, I have decided that national parks and nature are the root of everything. So I figure nature will fix it if we let it. So kind of some ideas that I have floating around right now is to do a play a month. So I'm just like have so much things that I've been thinking about that I'm like, oh, now I have to say them out loud. And so the overarching project dream is that I will be on the road. I will be traveling in an RV. Oh, that's another one. That's where the national parks came from, was traveling. I was like, let's get out there, because I love to travel and experience. And I'm not doing that right now, so I'm loving that I'm craving it so much and learning through the internet. So I will be traveling in hopefully like an RV and going to different places. Now the places I'll be going to are different parks in the United States. And what I'm searching for, what I'm going to be focusing more in on now that I have these plans, is finding stories within the parks that are important for people to hear. Whether that be from a a place of look at our climate, look at our environment, we need help, listen to what's happening in our own parks. I just listened to a podcast today that was talking about the oil industry and how they can put these pipelines underneath our parks, and I think that that's something that I was not aware about until today, and actually listened and am starting to understand it. But also for communities, there's like the Water is Life movement, and how those things can coincide with one another. Other things, I lost my train of thought. Oh, whether that be stories about like fairy tales. If there's like different fairy tales that are creative and educational and inspiring. I also want to focus a lot of my work on young girls and women. My sister and I were talking recently, and she was telling me about one of her friends and how this friend, we'll call this friend Charlotte, and how this friend Charlotte grew up in a very woke home. Grew up in a very woke home, and has always been encouraged by her mom to be a strong woman and to go out in the world and to have these liberal views, which is just kind of equality views and humanistic views. Was very encouraged and came out at a young age as being bi and all of these things. But she met a boy in high school who she's been now seeing for 6 months, and my sister was telling me that, whoa, the computer went dark. I'm in my roommate's room right now because he has been nice enough to let me borrow his computer while he's gone, and I have been trying to edit videos, but I'm learning a lot, and it hasn't happened yet because I'm still figuring it out. But anyways, so Charlotte's started seeing this boy, and since has started to, apparently I've not met Charlotte, but has started to almost creep back when she is apparently talking about her views and who she is as a person. And my sister and I talked about this for 2 hours, so there's a lot that I'm not going to be saying, I guess. But Charlotte's boyfriend is apparently very conservative and very outspoken, and as much as Charlotte has been in the past very outspoken about her liberal views, she has apparently more recently started to change her mind and has started to, last week she told my sister that she doesn't think she's bi anymore, that she thinks she's straight because she's dating this boy, and also this boy is like being very toxic and abusive in the sense that is not physical that I know of, but abusive in the sense of you can't hang out with your friends, who's this boy, stop talking to him, things of that nature. And I think that it is so critical that women and that young girls and that girls of all ages, people of all ages recognize themselves more as individuals and as strong beings. Something I've been working a lot on in my own life is telling myself that I'm strong. Because not only am I trying to get strong right now, but I am also teaching myself to use my voice, which is really hard to do in a pandemic, specifically when you don't see anyone. But it actually has been challenging me to speak up on a it's been challenging me to speak on a more subtle scale. What I mean by this is I recently got a job as a server, and I've been working on this place for about a month, and there's this man there, and he is so funny, and he makes a lot of inappropriate jokes, and it's not inappropriate in the sense where I feel like many people think about it more than once or just have it go over their head, but in a sense of it, a sexist, demeaning way. And I, without even trying to, without even like thinking about it, I've started to call him out for it. And it has been a struggle, not only to figure out the words to say, but also to figure out when is the right time to bite back. Because he makes a lot of jokes that are just frustrating enough where I do say something, but not frustrating enough to yet do anything more. So we're gonna see how that goes. But anyways, wow, I've really gone off track. I'm resetting because this has been a wild okay, so the next step on so anyways, to end up that story and not just randomly stop talking about it, I am hoping to continue educating myself so I can educate other non-male defined humans. That's another thing I'm working on, is to stop saying women and girls, because that's not how people are. It's obviously. So I think on some of the next things I want to do when working on this journey project is I think I want to start reaching out to national parks, kind of in the areas that I want to be around when I do leave on August 1st of 2021. So I want to start reaching out to some of these national parks and saying who, what, when, where, why, first of all. And, giving them, I shouldn't say who, what, when, where, why, first of all, because that was so many things that I have not gone over in this video. So, telling them who I am, Coley Shaw, what it is that I'm doing, which I want to be creating theater. I want to take a week to create a show. And that show is something based off of a story from that area. Or a folktale, or something from the surrounding culture, from the history, from whatever it may be. That's what I want to do. When? Next year, month-to-month basis. And it's important. And because it's what I feel is calling me, which sounds sometimes silly, but everything is just falling into place. And when I say that, I mean the educational work that I've been doing on this project so far. It is almost like I searched one thing. Like I listened to like one podcast by Kelly Edwards, and she was just so inspiring, and I just have been running with it. And by running with it, I mean that I am currently in quarantine and spend probably 70% of my time, my weekly time, on my own. The other... There's a hair in my mouth. Whoa. Oh, good golly. I love chapstick. It's just gonna be there. I'm just gonna let it be. But thinking. Buffer moment. Ooh. I'm getting used to talking in front of a camera more recently in my life, so but finding what things these parks are important things for people to hear. And I want to figure out how to do live Zoom theater or Zoom type platform theater. We are in a pandemic and many people cannot be outside. And while I recognize that this project is a year away, it's also only a year away. And as someone in the US, we're just getting worse. So, yeah, we'll probably still have a lot of online stuff, I imagine, next year. And a lot of people who probably can't get outside as much as they would like or want to. Or I was like listening to this podcast about this program that has kids like come into national parks and like take a week or whatever it was to just become more educated on parks and being outside and nature. And the kids aren't gonna be in school this year for a lot of kids. And so while I don't know what that looks like for next year, it looks like kids may not have opportunities like that. And so it looks like someone's gotta make some. And so we're gonna make some. See how it goes. And so I think I'm gonna also start a GoFundMe, and because I need a van or a RV or a vehicle on wheels, if you will. And I have a vehicle. Worst comes to worst, I'll skirt in my Jeep. But I'm very lucky, and it usually doesn't come to worst comes to worst. It usually is best case scenario, even when it feels wrong, like something's wrong. Just gotta keep trucking. And so that is my plan for now. I'm sure that I've left a ton of information out that I've been wanting to say, just because it's the first time I've really said a lot of it out loud, I guess. It's just been all kind of jumbled in my head. But I'm gonna look more into Emma Rice because she's a director that I've been recently inspired by. And Mickey Kendall is a woman who I'm reading one of her books right now called Hood Feminist, and that is teaching me a lot about so many things, but it's teaching me a lot about what I'm doing wrong as a white feminist. And so I'm excited to keep reading that to figure out what I need to be doing it right. And I figure the right thing right now is to have an open mind and come out of it full of education and facts and excitement about how to bring up a whole generation of women in new ways, a new way. And figuring out how to do that, because I think that anything's possible. And you should truly dream big, because I'm trying to teach myself that anything can be done. Anything that you think can be done, can be done. You just have to do it. And so that's what I'm doing. And I am very excited for this project. And very scared. But very excited. And I think that sometimes is the same feeling. So what am I really feeling? I'm feeling enthusiastic for the next year. And then the next year of my life. Because I still have a year to stay in school. So we're gonna truck through that one first. But while I'm trucking through, also gonna be planning and devising and exploring and communicating and just edumacating myself. Okay, I don't think I have much else. 23 minutes? That's a long time to talk. Okay. Coley, I hope if you're watching this, that you realize wherever you are in your life that anything's possible. And I know I just said that, but keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Figure out a way. Anything can be done. Just figure out a way to do it. Okay. Over and out.